Am I live? Can you all see me? I don't know. I can't see the chat now. I don't know if you all can see me or not. I apologize. I've been on the phone forever trying to get this figured out. It says live, so can anybody see me? B and One Win, are you still there? Somebody text me and tell me if y'all are there. It says one viewer. Let's see. How do you click on the chat? Maybe up here? Let's see. Group chat. To list all available commands, enter. Okay, look, let's see. Enter chat message. No. We don't want that. Can somebody, let's see. I'm going to call B. Oh, you can see me. Okay, awesome. Well, where's the chat? And I can't hear anything. Let's see. Oh. Microphone. Darn. Open up the second browser to show chat. Okay, I remember that part. Goodness, but tons of stuff open. Let me close all this stuff. Okay. Nope. Why won't it let me open up something else? No, I'm trying. I'm so sorry. Okay, that's not it. I did this before. How do I open up another? Open up second browser to search chat. I know B. I don't know how to. I did that before, but I'm so worried I'm gonna click out of here. Okay. Okay, if I lose you, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think, is there another way I can do this? Oh. Why can't I open another tab? I don't understand. Hello? Hi. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Okay, I'm trying to open up myself in the second Do I go under, like, try to find myself? Live streaming? Okay. I've never looked at myself. What is my name? Miss Fairgarden. We've been trying to do this for hours. I'm delusional at this point. Okay, it says live now. Okay. Okay, I see it. I see it. I'm talking. Oh, yay. Okay. And then, so I can't hear anything. Okay, so but I go down and I mute this screen, right? Okay, I did that. Now I'm going to go back to the other one. Okay. I, I still can't hear anything, but I think that um, this might have the volume down. Microphone. I don't know. Do you know how to turn the volume up on? It doesn't matter. Can you all hear me? Okay. Well, I can't hear myself at all, but it doesn't matter. I don't have to hear myself. Who cares, right? Okay. Awesome. Well, now here's the other thing. We're almost there. I cannot. Is there anybody typing? Because I don't see the chat. Uh-huh. Well, it's weird. It says group chat to list all available commands, enter question mark. Let's see, maybe if I go away and then come back, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to do unmute. Okay. Present to everyone. Oops. Okay. I don't know what I did. Yikes. I don't know why it doesn't show the chat, but you know what? Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone and look at it there. Well, I did it the other day. I don't know. I'll just have to play around with it a little bit more. But I have 8 viewers. Yay! Hey, everybody. I'm so sorry. Okay, B, I love you. I'm gonna hang up and see if I can see it on my phone, and then you can text me. Okay. Okay. Bye. I love you. Okay, y'all. I'm really sorry. I cannot hear myself. I can't see anything. So I'm gonna open it up on my phone and see if I can see the chat there, so I can actually respond. God, I feel so stupid. Okay, here it is. I've got 4 thumbs up and 0 thumbs down. Woohoo! And Witches Brew and One Went and Papa Rat and Stephanie and Funky Bee. Oh yay, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We tried to get on at like 8 o'clock, so I've been here for 3.5 hours. I made a vegetable lasagna in the meantime, but I was kind of going back and forth, and you know when you do that, things get messy, and I totally made a disaster in the kitchen, and the lasagna didn't turn out so great. I couldn't find the damn freaking tin foil, so I put wax paper on the top, and all the cheese melted on it, so it looks like a mess. But anyway, Witch's Brew is, wait a minute, still, oh, and Amanda's here from Makeup by Mandy. Amanda, how are you doing, honey? Where are you? Are you safe? I mean, obviously you're safe somewhere, but did you leave the state or coming in the next few hours? I just keep thinking if I were there in Florida, where would I go? I've got family in Maryland, um, but I just don't know. You know, I've obviously got friends and whatnot here, but imagining they were all there and were evacuating too, I just don't even know where I would go and what I would take and the possibility of going home to nothing. Oh my goodness. Amanda, what are you taking with you? I know you have your 2 babies with you. Okay, Stephanie says, I'm on a mobile app. Oops, going too fast. You have to have 100 subs or more to go live. Stephanie, I would love, our goal tonight was to have Stephanie Green and Mandy, ATX Mandy from Texas, to be in the live stream together. And whew, I don't even know. It's so counterintuitive what you told me to do. And when it says go live, it was actually create an event. You don't want to go live. It just doesn't seem like it makes any sense. But I guess just like everything, you have to have a little experience and it'll be okay. Okay, Stephanie says, we need a link to get in, Marla. I will be glad to do that. Just tell me what to do. I don't even know where to begin with that, Stephanie. If you want to text me, or you can put on the screen how to do that. Or if somebody knows how to do that, I can tell them easily how to let Stephanie and Mrs. ATX in. Because I don't know where the link is to this chat unless it's the whole big one that's at the top. Let's see if I can even. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. So I have it ready. And I can paste that for you if that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So let me know. Papa Rat, how are you? Does anybody else live in the storm's path? I know Brew is safe in Pennsylvania. And I wrote a message to Brew earlier that I think all of us will agree with. I said, Brew is pretty much every girl's dream guy and much more of a man than anybody criticizing him for having a long distance relationship with his girlfriend. Because I guarantee you they have a much more intimate, um, worthy relationship than a lot of married couples do. So, Brew, you did the right thing by saying, fuck them. Okay, Bruce says, copy and paste it VIA to Twitter. Okay, I've got copy and paste. All right, let me see if I can bring up Twitter. Oh, now down here it says live chat. And I can see the chat. And it says, sweetie. Okay, good. So now I can see the chat. I had two screens open, I guess. I still can't hear it. But, and it said, I see where it says manage moderators. When I come back, I'll make some people moderators that we had talked about. Okay, but let me see if I can pull up Twitter because I want Stephanie and Mandy to be able to come in. Okay, I am pasting it right now. Okay. Okay, Mandy and Stephanie, I pasted into the Twitter. So I hope that worked. I apologize for just a minute. Let me go get a tissue. My nose is running. I'm sorry.
Can you see me?
Okay, sorry about that. Um, oh, look at there. Yay! And I cannot, I
Can you
wish
see me?
here. My goodness. I'll just have to go by the chat. But Stephanie, that was quick, honey. So we were totally going about it the wrong way. But like I said, I cannot hear anything. That's the next thing I need to work on. Does anybody know how I'm just going to try this and see if it works. Okay. Can you hear? Can I hear? No. Oh, let me put in headphones. Maybe that'll be it. And now I can't see the darn chat again. I'm making a fool of myself.
I'm trying to pull up the
Ooh,
chat on my son's phone, so hold on just a second.
I can hear you.
I'm
Can
trying
you
to
hear me,
find
Stephanie?
headphones too. I don't know where those are at either.
Y'all, like, we're not the smartest, not the brightest. Okay, I'm going to put these headphones in. Okay. So I cannot hear myself still, but Stephanie, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yay. And I can't see the chat again. I did a minute ago. But what I'm going to do is see if I can pull it up again on here. Yes, I can. Okay, Punky B, you are my new favorite person in the world. She says you're seriously are just too precious. No, I'm an idiot. Okay.
I'm trying to find headphones. Give me a second.
Take your time. I don't know what happened to Mandy. We were just on the phone. So Mandy, honey, that link should be in the Twitter that Brew made for the four of us. So just click on that. Stephanie was able to come in really quickly. Amanda, thank you. I would love any more than anything for you to make your own damn channel and give us some makeup tips. Tracy, hey sweetie. Yes, Stephanie is gorgeous. We all saw her the other day. She made a little video or a couple of videos for us on the way to work. And all of us just about fell over about how beautiful she is. And we're like, you have got to start making videos. She works at Pizza Hut during the week at the lunchtime shift. And she was on her way to work there. And it looked like she was on her way to a live performance as Martina Bride somewhere.
Aw, thanks. Okay, I've got headphones in. I've got my son's phone and the chat pulled up. I'm trying to get situated, so give me just a second, okay?
That's okay. You're doing better than I am. It took me about 4 hours. You know it has. I've been on the phone forever. Amanda says, let me survive this hurricane. Yes, yes, yes. Amanda, have you had any other hurricanes? I don't know how long you've been in Florida, but has this happened to you before? Tracy, thank you. Brew is very beautiful. I agree, sweetie. Oh, Papa Red, yes. I haven't been watching CNN, but I imagine you get hooked watching that and watching the storms back. Yeah, B, are you still in here? Her little tweets that she sent, well, not tweets, but texts that she sent me, or was how I was able to get on here, and they were perfect for me because they would show a picture and say, click here, dumbass. Okay, now here, click here, idiot. It worked perfectly for me. You are a beautiful hamster. Stephanie, can you see the chat on the screen, or do you have to pull up your phone?
I actually have my son's phone, and I am trying to catch up with the chat at the moment.
Okay.
And my cat won't stay off my lap, so I'm trying to do everything all at once.
Oh, there's B. Bea, this is past your bedtime, honey. What are you doing awake? Oh, okay. Bea said those were actually Brew's instruction. Oh, okay. Thank you, Brew. Anyway, y'all, I had a list of different things that we were all going to talk about recovery and life and YouTube. And now it's so late. I was just tickled to be able to come on for a little bit. Is there anything particular you all want to talk about? One of the things I was going to talk about was first times, first experiences with whatever it might be. Yes, Mandy, you're right. God does got this. It shows us how very small we are and how very not in control we are of our lives. Mandy, did you say, or are you able to say where you're going? Do you have family somewhere that you can stay, or how is that working for you? Oh, Bree, you actually put those arrows on there? That was perfect. That was my speed completely for those directions. Yeah, we were, like I was referring to earlier, I did hear about that video that was made. That's pretty much the only thing I've seen this weekend so far about Brew and his girlfriend and criticizing their relationship because it's a long distance one. And I just thought that was so absurd. Like, made you look like a total jerk for who are you to be criticizing somebody else's relationship? Doesn't look like you're an expert yourself, you know? I don't know what happened to Mandy.
Can you hear me,
I'm
Marla?
wondering. I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. All right. I think I'm situated now.
Yay.
This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so it's so weird. I don't like
I
seeing
know.
my
That's what.
face.
Now you look beautiful. That's why I was thinking our first time. It's like our first. Well, Mandy, I don't think she said she did a live stream, but she's done videos before. Whereas you and I, neither one of us have done that. And for some reason, Mandy's live stream, she's not able to live stream for like 30 days. She got struck.
Yeah, I saw
Which I don't.
that.
It's so odd to me. I don't know what she did or how that works, and I don't understand YouTube because we have people out there who are doxing people left and right on a daily and don't have their videos taken down and don't have their live streaming abilities taken down. Where sweet Mrs. ATX, I don't even know what she did to garner any sort of repercussions like that, but so hopefully she can come on. Witches Brew says, only thing I'll say on the relationship thing is Kelly and I are ridiculously happy. Ain't nothing anyone says that would create any semblance of a wedge between us. Amen.
And I think not meeting face to face and getting to know each other first,
Absolutely.
that is, you form more of a connection that way than if you were face to face. I don't know. I just think it would be actually probably better not meeting
Yep.
face to face first.
Yep. I was just watching a catfish marathon that I had taped, and I'm not saying by any means that either one of them are a catfish, but you see these people who have these relationships for years and haven't even seen the other person, and yet they are willing to, even if it's not the person in the picture, they still are willing to meet that person and possibly carry on a relationship because their emotional connection is so strong. So exactly what you were saying, Stephanie.
I think it's amazing
When you
when I
don't
watch Pat.
have that, you know, when you're able to focus on the emotional connection as the mainstay in your relationship, I think that's a wonderful thing and makes your relationship very strong. And can you imagine when they finally do get to live together, how amazing their relationship is going to be?
I know, and it's not going to be physical attraction. They're going to know everything about each other first.
Right.
I just think it's great. I mean, because physical attraction sometimes takes over mental attraction. I don't know. I
Oh,
just
isn't
think
that
it
the
would be
truth?
awesome.
That is the truth.
But I
I've
think I
made a
love
lot
to
of
watch.
mistakes with that in the past. We are so attracted physically to somebody that you do really stupid things that if you just knew them in a way that Rue and Kelly know each other, there's nothing in common there. It was totally a physical connection and there's nothing else there. So,
Yeah, I agree.
which is Bruce says, anybody remember the book Sarah Plain and Tall? LDRs existed for a long time, even back when Little House on the Prairie days, just back then. It was letters. Oh, yes. And can you imagine how exciting that was? You only got a letter, like once every 2 weeks? But how great that was. Yeah.
We know all about getting those letters right
Exactly.
from
You know
our
what? That brought me right. Stephanie, you are reading my mind. Yeah, I don't know if Stephanie's okay with me sharing, but we have a lot in common. Um, Stephanie and I did about the same amount of time in prison for similar crimes um, in regards to obtaining um, obtaining pills under false pretense, which basically means in my case, I refilled prescriptions. In her case, what were you working at a pharmacy, Stephanie?
Yes, I was a pharmacy tech and I borrowed some pills.
Yeah,
Not really borrowed.
yeah.
There's no nice way to put
Love it.
it.
But her time was done. I guess how long was it since you've been in
Been
prison?
home since January 14th, 2010.
Okay, so things have really changed. And I've been home for about I guess it'll be 3 years this coming November. I think that's right. I always get confused if it's 2 or 3, but letters were very important for sure. And you're at the total objectification of the staff there, and whether you got those letters or not, there was no arguing. You could say, I didn't get a letter. Where is it? Could you look for it? Um, you were treated like total crap. Not by everybody. Some of the staff there were very kind, but they were
Yeah,
few and far between.
exactly. Few and far between. We actually had a lockdown one time for 12 days. They held our
Oh my
mail and
God. Why
we
was there a
couldn't shop
lockdown?
commissary.
What happened?
There was fight. I think like 13 or 14 girls jumped on one male CO and ripped his shirt off. I mean, they beat the hell out of him.
That's not
It
funny,
was
but it's
bad.
hysterical to me. He probably deserved
It kind,
it.
I mean, it kind of is because we're a bunch of women and they're these big, strong men, and
Oh my gosh. Well,
but
I had
yeah,
told a
it was.
story to Stephanie. We were talking about how we were detoxing, and it came from somebody's video. I can't remember who we were watching that was talking about detox. It probably was Mandy. But the last time I was abusing opiates and had to detox was horrific. I had been arrested by my little game that I had been doing after I refilled my prescriptions, and that didn't work out for me. Is I would steal designer purses was the main thing I would do.
Which, as
And
Bruce said, he wasn't well versed in the art of karate chops. No, he definitely wasn't.
no, he should have learned better. And a lot of those COs, there are a lot of like short men complex type people that just want some
Oh yes,
authority.
yes.
I thought you were laughing at me about the designer purse steal. But anyway, one of the things that I would do, yes, I would go into department stores and steal designer purses and pawn them or take them to like a local trade shop like Clothes Mentor or Plato's Closet, somewhere like that. And these people knew me. I would come in on the daily. They knew this stuff was stolen. They didn't care.
Oh my gosh.
But I would get, a purse that might be worth $400, $500, but I would get about $40 for it. So at that particular point in time, I needed about, I don't know, between $100 and $200 a day just to maintain my habit. And guys, I was looking rough at this point. I was looking rough, and I would go to these department stores like I owned them. And how I got away with it for so long, I don't know. But this last time, I was in very bad shape, and I just needed a little bit more money. I was actually on the way to the doctor. I seriously was going to do it right this time. And I got caught. And this time I had never taken the sensors off of anything because I didn't realize, but that's considered a felony. I guess there might be a price limit to whether or not something's a felony or not. But if you remove one of those sensors from anything, it could be a candy bar, it's considered a felony. And this was in Durham County, which is a sister county to here, and is not a very good, safe place at all. It's one of the highest crime rates, definitely within the triangle. I don't know, within the state. And Stephanie, like you said, that jail was on a lockdown. They had tried, I don't know what happened. It was a male and female jail, and which, most are. And they had found a bunch of shanks and knives and really serious weapons in the male dorms. And a note, I think, that they were going to harm one of the COs there. So they put everybody on lockdown, and we were on lockdown for 23 hours a day. But it actually was more than that. We actually only got out every other day for 1 hour. And that means during that 1 hour time, you had to run to take a shower, make any phone calls you needed to make, try to stretch your legs a little bit, maybe watch a little bit of TV, and then it was locked back down. And your hour might have been at 3 o'clock in the morning because we were all on shifts. It's not like they let everybody out for 1 hour. They let like 5 or 6 people out at one time so that they could watch them. And hopefully it was supposed to be safer for the COs. And, I was detoxing from some really heavy, bad stuff. And I actually had a roommate at that time, which she had to watch me, do all the horrible things that happen when you detox. But I was so grateful because she actually was, to have somebody to talk to when you were on total lockdown like that was wonderful. And only about 5 of us out of 60 people were able to have roommates. And that was God looking after me completely because I was given a roommate, and I just told her straight up. She walked in, I said, "I'm detoxing, I'm sorry." And she said, "Oh, girl." She had been there before, and we had the best time. But boy, I remember those. Whew, it took about a week of solid torture.
I detoxed in county too, and it was just a big pod. We didn't have our own individual rooms. It was like 12 beds in one big room, and it was horrible. I just slept though. Every time they came around, and all they would give us was Tylenol and ibuprofen.
Right.
And every time they offered it, I took it, and I just slept. I mean, even then, ibuprofen still made me tired. You wouldn't think as many pills as I was taking, ibuprofen would even do anything, but it did make me sleep. And I would alternate Tylenol one time, ibuprofen the next. And I mean, it was horrid. But there was about 4 other girls in there detoxing at the same time. So, I mean, we kind of went through it together, but it was horrible. I mean, if that doesn't make you want to not ever go back to that life again, I don't know. I don't understand people who detox, get through the withdrawals,
come back,
and then go right back to it. I do not get it. I don't understand that.
Well, I think we had talked about this too. There was like a revolving door. Even when I was in prison, it was a revolving door. People would get out. They might be doing a short sentence of like 6 months, and they would be right back. I mean, they might be gone not even a week, and they'd be right back. It was really sad. But we had talked about what is humanly, what is humane as far as what the criminal justice system should provide for people who are detoxing. I don't
I think they
understand
should do
why.
more than ibuprofen and
Yeah.
Tylenol.
I don't understand why they can't do something like Suboxone or a small dose or something like that. I just think it's completely inhumane. But on the other, like you said, it kind of makes you realize you never want to live that life again. So,
Exactly. I mean, if they made it easy for us, you
right, it wouldn't be jail. I mean, you're being punished
exactly.
for a reason. I
But
completely agree
I
with that.
understand the humane question though, because at my county jail, they didn't even give us pads or tampons when we were on our periods.
Oh my God. Now we had
We
pads, but
we had toilet paper.
are you serious?
Yeah, it's a hole in the
Wow.
wall in freaking Podunk, Ohio.
Oh my gosh. Now I
I
thought I
know.
had a bad off, but we did actually have, they were pretty rough pads, but we,
But
we did have
I
them.
wasn't in county very long. As soon as I got sentenced, I rode out within 2 days.
Well,
So
you're lucky. And something that people are shocked to always learn is how prison is so much better than jail.
it
I
is.
mean,
I
a
could not
hundred
wait to
times
get to
better.
prison. I could not.
Yeah.
I mean, I that sounds weird. I don't mean it like that.
No, I know
But
what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Compared to where you were, yes.
compared to county, oh my gosh, prisons like I always explained it to people who had never been there. What's it like? It's like a big sleepover that never ends. I mean, we had 250 women in one room, 125 bunk beds, and they don't go to sleep. They are up all night hooping and hollering and I can't I don't like to be around people now. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I
probably
like
made you more of an introvert. Yeah, it
yep,
totally depends on where you were too. I was in
yep.
a maximum security facility for like the first year, and they were pretty rough and tough. And I was there with people who were doing life, and they actually did have death row there. Although you never see those people. Those people are
Yeah.
in complete and total isolation.
There's only
The only
two
time I
women
saw
on
them, we had a talent show, and they were able to come out. There was two of them. One was called the Black Widow, and I guess she had killed like 15 husbands that she had. And then there was another woman, and both of them were both in such poor health. They had been locked up for, decades, and they were able to come out. They were in full, they were handcuffed and shackled, and they had to wear like bright pink, I think. So of course everybody knew who they were, and they were able to come out for like 30 minutes every year, and that's the only social interaction they got except for their time with their guards. Um,
we only
but
had two women on death row and we never saw them
you
ever.
never saw them. Yeah, I
Nope,
think I just
never
happened
did.
to be there. It was over 4th of July that they had a kind of, like I said, a variety show, talent show type deal, and they were able to come out for a minute. B said she was in a huge room with 25 other women, two toilets, and two showers. Yep. You learn really quickly to lose all your sense of pride, and that's pretty bad.
Luckily, I found a friend there. She was younger than me, but we just hit it off from the beginning. Her name
Yeah.
was her name was Nikki. We became best friends, and we I don't want to say protected each other, but
Oh,
we
yeah.
were together. You know, we went to the showers together. We went to
Right.
poop together because there is no shower stalls. It's open.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
watches everybody else shower. There's no doors on the
On the
toilet
toilets.
stalls.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you lose every ounce of dignity and you can't be modest.
No,
It's
no.
horrible.
Well, that's what I
Horrible.
was going to tell just briefly about my first, when I was thinking about tonight, my first time being arrested, which this was not the time I was talking about when I finally detoxed and really got sent away for a long stint in prison. This is the very first time. And previous to this, y'all, I had been literally like the ideal, perfect little child growing up. I had all straight A's. I did really well in school.
Me too.
We had talked about, yeah. I was a teacher for 5 years. I got voted teacher of the year twice in that 5 year period of time. I mean, just, never smoked, never drank, blah, blah, blah. Well, I did like to drink champagne. That was my thing that I did. And I sort of had told a little bit before about what happened when I
had been in pain for so many years and just had gotten to the point that I was suicidal and refilled those prescriptions for Percocet at work. So I knew it was wrong, but I didn't really understand that it was illegal. And that shows you how naive I was. I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. I thought I might get fired from my job. I very much knew that if I got caught, I might be fired from my job, but I did not care. I did
That's
not
what I
care. It
thought
was like
too.
my life or getting fired from this job that I did kind of at that point in time. Like I said before, I was only supposed to be there for a short period of time, and it was 6 years later. So I was ready to move on anyway. So I was going to a different pharmacy every day to fill, not every day, but every couple of days to fill my prescription. And there was a Walmart and a Target within walking distance to the house I was living in. And I was very careful at first, but what always gets you caught is you get greedy and you get lazy. And
Yep.
that's what I did. It was right before Christmas, so it was getting a little bit cold. And I went to the Walmart that was right by our house. And I gave him the prescription, and the pharmacist looked at me and she was like, "You should already have enough from the last time I filled this." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll just take it back then." And I knew right then and there, she was that was my little gig was over. So she gave me the prescription back, and right after that, she called the police. Or she either called my doctor or she called the police. But anyway, the next morning I show up at work, and of course the two doctors are back there and say the two doctors want to speak with me, and they were just heartbroken and confused because once I got caught with that one, they were able to pull up a file and not only see all the Walmarts where I was filling prescriptions, but every pharmacy within Wake County that I was filling prescriptions. So, they knew me as this perfect, they had known me, like I said, they were family friends I'd mentioned before. So they'd known me for many, many years and didn't understand why, because I kind of hid the fact that I was in pain from them. Everybody else in the office knew, but for the most part, they didn't really know. So anyway, I get fired. Okay, cool. I expected that. I went home. About 2 weeks went by, and I was doing fine. I was riding my horses. I still had enough Percocet left over that I wasn't really an addict at this point because I hadn't taken them that long I was abusing them, but I wasn't really physically addictive, if that makes sense. So I was doing my thing, and one Friday morning, I get a knock at the door. And I was home alone with my dogs, watching TV. I think I was drinking a mimosa, just enjoying life. And there's two DEA agents at the door. I mean, they have DEA written on them. And I'm like, "Come on in, y'all." Still not thinking of anything. They come in. There's a gun rack on the wall, for my boyfriend's guns. And I see one of the officers, always he has his back to me or his back to the wall every time I move. He's always watching his guns. And I'm like, "Dude, chill out." I think I offer them something to drink. I'm still acting like nothing is wrong. It doesn't even occur to me that they're there for me for any sort of reason. But they say, "Can you go ahead and get your clothes on?" Because I had my bathrobe on. And they looked at the dogs and they said, "Is there somebody that can take care of the dogs?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, they have a doggy door and there's food and water. So, I mean, I think they should be fine." Not knowing they were like, "Girl, you're not coming home. So you better get things in order." But like I said, I didn't know. She even told me I could put some makeup on. And I always thought that was odd. I
Yeah,
know.
that is weird.
But it was a female agent. She had to go in my bedroom with me and watch me, get dressed and everything. So they take me down to the jailhouse, which is this huge jailhouse. And I didn't know it as a jail. I'd never been there before, but they went down and there's all these interrogation rooms. And I remember they did not handcuff me. They had an unmarked vehicle and they put me in the front. And once I got in, they handcuffed me in the front. And they were very nice. She said, "I didn't want any of your neighbors to be nosy and wonder what was going on." And I was like, "Oh, it's okay." Still nothing was clicking in my head. So they interrogate me and want to, ask me about all these prescriptions were filled, which there was nothing to it. I filled the prescriptions and I took them. But their main thing was they were trying to get me to admit that I was selling these prescriptions because they just kept saying there's no way in the world anybody can consume this much Percocet on their own. And I was like, yeah, they can. And I did. which looking back on it, it was like the lowest dose possible, 5 milligrams. And I guarantee you they say that to everybody because they can get much higher of a conviction for selling drugs rather than consuming it for yourself. And truly, there was nobody that knew what I was doing. My boyfriend would have killed me. My family would have killed me if any of them knew what I was doing. So, I thought it was done after that. I thought after they interrogated me and I told them the truth, I would be able to go home and maybe they would make me go to rehab or something like that. But I would be able to go home because I did a good job when I told the truth. Well, then they walked me upstairs and they said, okay, well, this is a good day because there's not very many people. So this should work pretty quickly. And I looked at him and I said, okay, well, good, because I have a lunch date with my girlfriend and I'll just call her and let her know I'll be a little bit late. But do you think I'll still be able to make it at like 12:30? And the guy was like, honey, no. But what he said was, well, if your bond is 0, then yes. I said, so you'll take me back home? And he said, yes, if you have a bond of 0, we'll take you back home. Knowing good, full and well, I was not going to have a bond of 0. First of all, I didn't even know what a bond was. I had only heard the word bail before in my life. So, I get processed and all they do is take your fingerprints at that point and dress you out and get you ready to see the magistrate. Well, I remember the guy in front of me had a bounce check from Food Lion, and his bond was $15,000, I think. And so I thought, well, shit, there's no way in hell that I'm going to have a 0 bond if a bounce check is giving somebody $15,000. And of course, I went up there to the magistrate. They took one look at my my charges and said $50,000 bond secured. And I just my head was like, okay. And the 2 DEA officers that were standing there with me, I literally didn't see them. They like ran out the door. It's like, peace, see ya. So and then after that, I was property of the state. And I got strip searched for the first time. And I remember I couldn't bend they make you squat, And because of my feet, I couldn't squat deep enough. And I remember the officer hollering at me to squat. Techie, I said squat. And I was like, oh my God, okay.
Farther down.
It was hard. Yeah, get further down. You just have anything stuck up there. And I had never been treated like that in my whole life. So I had no idea what was going on. And finally, they dress you out and I go up to the women's pod. And this was a pod. It was a big open room, but we did have rooms, but this was during open time. So it was like a madhouse. There was probably 100 women in there. But the first person I saw was this huge black girl that had no hair, head was shaved, and she probably was, 350 pounds. And I walked in and she says, "What's up?" And I literally turned to the officer. I said, "I think you put me in the wrong quad," because I thought it was a men's quad. But she actually, her name was Man Man, and she ended up being one of the coolest people that I met. And we, that first time I did 32 days, and she ended up being one of my closest girlfriends ever. So in a very short period of time, you learn quickly the rules of being locked up. But that was my first time getting arrested. And, most people might be arrested on a lesser charge, but I went from never being arrested before in my life to having a $50,000 bond. And that finally did, by the way, get dropped to $25,000 bond. So I paid $2,500 cash to get out. And that, we can talk about the rest of that later, but I think, I was put on house arrest also, waiting for my court date. So I was on house arrest for almost 2 months, which was embarrassing too. But anyway, so Stephanie, you just had that one. You didn't mess around. You just got your one conviction, got it out of the way with, and learned your lesson.
Yep, I was same as you. Good girl. Never, ever been in trouble. Only child. My parents spoiled me, middle class America, working hard working parents. Um, I was going through a divorce. I had a baby. I got with a guy. He did, you know, recreational drugs. I started doing them with him. I started doing cocaine first. And one weekend I couldn't find any cocaine, so he had me try a little piece of an Oxy 80 and I was hooked. From then on, it was over. I mean, I did anything and everything, not anything and everything. I never sold my body, thank God. I never I never stole from family, but I did steal, obviously that's my charge, theft. But
Were you working at
no,
the
no.
pharmacy at that time, or you got a job afterwards?
I got a job afterwards. I got a job when
Damn, I
I
bet
was
you thought you won the lottery there,
I
huh?
did, and it was a small pharmacy in
A
little.
private pharmacy.
Yeah, they didn't even have a computer system when I first started working there. They did everything by pencil and paper. I mean, it was like true Andy Griffith pharmacy.
Right.
And a guy from Pittsburgh bought it. The old guys were retiring. So a young guy from Pittsburgh bought the pharmacy, had never met him, didn't even know he was in town yet, and he installed video cameras
Oh
and
my God.
a security system. Still
How
didn't have
long had
computers.
how long had it been that you before he came installed the cameras that you were working there and
About
stealing?
about 8 months.
Okay.
Um, so he installed the video cameras. They didn't keep record of inventory at all.
Golly.
I know. I mean, man, I hit the jackpot till he came. But I came into work one Monday and I had 3 days off. Came in, we had to wear scrubs and they had, the cargo pockets on the side.
Uh-huh.
I had my cargo pocket on the side full of Oxy 80s.
That's the 80s. I don't even know
Yep,
if I've ever seen one of those.
that's what I did. Or Roxaset, one or the other. But I was taking a bottle of 100 Oxycontin 80s every 3 days. And I
Wow.
mean, I was selling them. I wasn't taking them all. I was selling
Uh-huh.
them. My boyfriend was doing them, and I was doing them. Um, and I was already high when I walked in. I mean, I probably already had 580s in me when I walked in.
Oh, God.
But I was doing 10 to 15 a day. Um, I walked in. The pharmacist pointed up at the security camera. The new guy was there. He pointed up at the security camera. He said, "I have cameras there, there, and there. Get upstairs." So I
Oh my
walked
God.
upstairs. There were two guys in suits with badges, and I thought for sure it was FBI because I mean I'd never been in trouble. I'd only seen TV.
Right.
It was the Board of Pharmacy compliance officers or something like that. So they interviewed me forever. They showed me the videotapes where they had me, putting bottles of pills in my pocket. They tried every way in the world to get me to tell them that I was selling them. Same as you, I wouldn't do it. I would not. I said, no, they're all mine. They're all
Well,
mine.
you're smart. You're smart
They
because I didn't
they
even know
said
that was, worse or better than taking them
they
yourself.
said there's no way you're taking that many pills in your body. Yes, I am. They're all mine. They're all mine. So that was in April of 2008. I did not hear any. I left that building still with my pocket full of pills. They didn't make
They
me
did.
empty.
Oh my.
No, I still had my pocket full of pills. So I was good for a few days. But that was April. I did not hear another word about that until November when I had state troopers knocking on my door to
Are
arrest
you
me.
freaking kidding
I
me?
thought I was clear and free. I was like, "Sweet, it's been 6 months. I haven't heard nothing. I'm good." But I was still in major active addiction. It probably got worse actually.
You were just buying them somewhere
Um
else.
yeah. Yeah. That's when I really started stealing from places, to
Yeah. Get the
which I
money.
don't know how I didn't. I guess I was good at it. I don't know. I never got caught like shoplifting, thank God, because I did. I mean, I would walk into Walmart and throw my coat over big screen TVs and walk right out. I mean,
Wow.
I don't know how. I don't know how,
Well, that
but
was also like 10 years ago, and they've gotten a
it
lot
was. It was.
savvier now.
But November, they came in, or they came to my house. I was in bed. My son was there, and he was, let's see, he was 3.5, I think. And
They knocked on the
didn't
door, or they just were knocking?
they knocked on the door, and I was trying to like pretend I wasn't home, but then my nosy ass neighbor next door, she's in there, because she hated me. So they were yelling, let me in, let me in. So I let them in. Um, I only had on a t-shirt. I didn't even have, like, I was asleep, so I didn't have on underwear or anything.
Oh, God.
And I said, I need to get dressed. Can you let me get dressed? They were two men, and they watched me put my bra and panties and pants, and
Oh
because I
my
guess they
God.
thought I had a gun or something. I mean,
Right, for
I
sure.
didn't have firearms, but they put me and my son in the police car. Thank God they didn't call CPS. CPS never got called. I,
What did they do with your baby?
they let me call my mom and dad to come and get him,
Okay.
which that was when my mom and dad found out I was on drugs. They had no clue.
No clue. Oh God,
Nope.
what a phone call.
I lived a double life, and I had to call my mom, and she actually had just had an allergic reaction to medication the night before and was in the ER. So she was sick, deathly sick, but they came to court and posted their property to get me out of, so I didn't have to go to jail that day.
Oh wow.
And
You
so
remember how much your bond was?
I don't have a clue. I don't remember, because I didn't know anything about it back then either. I didn't know about bonds and bail, and I didn't even know I needed a lawyer. I mean, I got a court appointed lawyer, but I didn't even know, like, to think to get a lawyer. I was very naive with the whole thing.
Yeah,
I was
me and I
naive with
both.
drugs, though. When I first tried that first pill, I thought there's no way you can get addicted to pain pills. There's no way. I mean, I didn't think it was rational thinking. I had no idea the hold that prescription pain pills could have on you.
Oh yes. Old is
But
right.
my mom ended up, I had to turn myself in, and I was running, not running literally, but I was in West Virginia and my charges were in Ohio. So I just wasn't going across the river. I thought they can't come and get me. They can't cross the river to come and get me. So my mom came to my house and she drove me to the courthouse and made me turn myself in. And I mean, she cried the whole time. I'm going to start crying. She cried the whole time.
Oh, sweetheart.
But she saved my life that day. And I've never held it against her. I've never like told her she ruined my life or anything like that, because she
It
didn't.
would
She
have come
saved
to a
my
head at
life,
one point in time anyway.
because I would be dead. I mean, I was doing 10 to 15 80 milligram Oxycontins a day and not eating. I mean, I didn't have money to eat because I didn't have a job.
Right.
I would have died. I would have
Were
been
you
dead
still
within
with that
probably
same
3 months.
boyfriend?
Off and on. He was there and not there, there and not there. Actually, I had started seeing my now husband. Drop my phone. Hold on a second.
That's okay, honey. Stephanie's on her phone. Her laptop isn't
I
working right now.
I right before I went and turned myself in, my husband now asked me on a date. He had
Oh my
no
God.
clue. He had no clue about any of this. I mean, he didn't know I was on drugs. He didn't know I was in trouble. And I went out on a date with him, and it was New Year's Eve. And I left to go to prison January 14th. So 13 days later, I went to jail, or 14
Did
days
he know
later.
where you were going?
My mom had to tell him.
Oh my gosh. What a
I
great
was
man,
gone.
though. He obviously
But
loved you.
I was gone 2 years and one day, and he waited on me. And I'm
Oh
married
my
to him now.
gosh.
We've been married since 2011. I came home in January and moved in with him 2 weeks later. So I mean, it's been a whirlwind, but he
Well,
waited on
that's
me.
awesome. You're very lucky because
Yeah,
not very many people stand by you during that period of time. You definitely realize
he's
who your
amazing. My
friends are.
husband is amazing, and he's never he drinks, but he's never done. I mean, he might have smoked pot when he was younger, but never had like an active addiction. But he understands, and even in fights and stuff, he never throws it in my face ever.
Right.
He
Well,
never, and
I wanted to ask you, and maybe people in the chat too that have experience with this. My draw to pain pills was absolutely 100% being in severe chronic pain for so many years. Um, and that's what's made it really hard is even when I got sober, it's not like the pain went away. I still have the pain, the thing that drew me to the prescriptions in the first place. So that's something I deal with on a daily. And I can't really tell you that there's not usually a couple of days a week. I'm like, if I knew I was never going to get caught and didn't have to pay the penalty for abusing drugs, I probably would, just to get out of this pain. But what was I know you said you were with that guy, so just experimenting with it, but what drew you, do you think, at that point in your life to abusing drugs or abusing pain pills?
I went through an 18-month program when I was in prison, and it was called Tapestry. It was a therapeutic community, and it was intensive therapy. I mean, they get to the root of the problem, not how you did drugs or how you obtained drugs, but literally why. And
That's
I mean,
so
I have
good.
a lot of daddy issues, I guess. My biological father left me and my mom when I was 3 months old, and then he fucked around with my life for 13 or 14 years till he finally was like, screw it, I'm gone. And I haven't talked to him since I was 17, I think. I'm 36 now. So, I mean,
Wow.
I think daddy issues were a lot of the root of it. My stepfather raised me. He and my mom got married when I was 11 months old. So, I mean, he's all I've ever known as a dad, really. I knew there was this other man that I called dad, but he was never a dad. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I believe it was, I hate to use daddy issues as a reason, but I believe that that's what it was.
Right.
I mean, that's what I claim anyway. And I mean, there were other things when I was younger that I never really got over, which I don't really want to go into on here, but
Right. Not your first night, huh?
yeah. But I mean, I had a lot of stuff I had never really dealt with, and it numbed. I mean, pain pills numb everything. All that
Right. Well,
hurt.
and B just said she got involved with taking pain pills because it gave her energy, and I felt that too. Things have the opposite effect on me, but I know they're supposed to be a downer, but they gave me tons of energy.
Me too. Me
Once you
too.
got past
So
that
much
little,
energy.
not out period, I felt like I could just take on the world. And for me personally, I was years of going to work and coming home and going to bed because I was in so much pain, and pain will exhaust you. Um, and then all of a sudden, I was better. I could go shopping after work and clean the house like I used to, and I was cooking casseroles in the middle of the night. And right before I got caught the first time, it was Christmas time, and I was having this big Christmas party for my friends at work and my other friends, and literally decorating the entire house from top to bottom. And everybody just thought, "Oh, Marla's back. Marla's better," and they didn't have any clue that it was just the pills.
Yeah, I hid a lot of my deep dark hurts. I mean, even my mom didn't know a lot of stuff that happened until I was way older, probably 28 years old before I ever told her some stuff that happened when I was younger. And it all stems from my dad. I mean, the things that happened that I didn't deal with happened at my dad's house, and it wasn't him, it was stepbrothers. I'm sure you can kind of read between the lines, but
Yeah,
I had
a
several
lot of
sets.
people dealing with abuse that
Yeah.
I mean, can you blame them for wanting to have some sort of peace?
Exactly. I mean, and I didn't even realize they affected me the things that happened affected me the way it did until I had to stare it in the face. You know what I mean? Until I
Hmm.
had to say, "Wow, I really went through that." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I suppressed it, and I don't know. It's
Well, you
been
mentioned going to that therapeutic community, which they had one of those when I was in prison also. But what was really interesting is, jails are usually state funded, and prisons are almost always privately funded. So they are a for-profit organization, and that's why they have so many more. Um, I took yoga and had tons of Bible studies and all kinds of things that they didn't offer in jail at all. But the jail that I mentioned that was on the 23-hour lockdown, they for some reason had a program. It was called STAR, STARR.
we have Star here in Ohio.
Did you? It was an
Yeah.
awesome, awesome program. At that point in time, I had been to rehab twice. So, y'all, this is a big skip forward from the first time, and I was drinking my mimosa and had the DEA agents. Okay, well, this was the last time I got arrested. So I had a period of time in there. So don't get confused.
the last time before I went to prison for a long stretch, I did 30 days. This is God for you, okay? Um, they have the STAR program there that's a 30-day at a time program. I don't think they did it every month. I think they would do it like every 45 days. So they would take a little break in between every 30 days. I happened to get there the first day that they started it. And that roommate I was telling you about that I had, even though I was dope sick as hell and was laying on the concrete floor praying for Jesus to come take me. She's like, Marla, you've got to go fill this out. She's like, I'm not a drug addict, but you are. You can qualify for this, and this will get you out of this room. Because when you're stuck in a room like that for a cell, 8 by 10 cell, you will go insane. We didn't even have books. So I did. I had it, who knows what I wrote on that because I was so out of it. But for some reason, they picked me and I heard my name called the next day. So I was able to leave each day for like 8 hours. It was split up. We had like 2 sessions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and then every evening, we'd have either NA or AA in the community would come in and sponsor that. So, like I said, I was sentenced to exactly 30 days. So I was able to finish my 30-day program. Once after the 30-day was up, that's when I was moved to prison to finish my long-term sentence. But that was the best rehab I had. I had been at that point in time, I had been to rehab like twice. And for me, see, addicts, and particularly me, I can be so sneaky, and if there is a way around it, I will find it. It's not like addicts are dumb by any means, especially opiate addicts. If you have to find something every day, they are not lazy people, and they can be very creative. So for me, the setting of a rehab facility did work because I could always find a way to lie or sneak or kind of get what I really wanted to without people knowing it. When you're in jail, no, there's no way around it. There's nothing that could be. I mean, people do it, but I wasn't that. I wasn't one of those people.
Me either.
So
And
it was kind of like, yeah, you try to go somewhere now. You can't even kill yourself if you wanted to. You
right.
can't even escape that way. So it was the only way that I was going to listen, if that makes sense.
Where I was in Ohio, they people abused their antipsychotic meds because they couldn't. There might have been drugs in there. I didn't know about them. I didn't hear about them. I mean, like smuggled in drugs. But there were so many people trading their commissary or putting money on each other's books for antipsychotic meds and Ultrasets. Ultrasets is just a amped up Tylenol. But
Ultraset, is that the same thing as a Vicodin?
No, it has no addictive qualities whatsoever. It's basically Tylenol with a little bit more power. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I had a girl that lived right beside of me, and she was putting money, like $150 a month, on this other girl's books to get her Ultraset, and you get nothing off Ultraset. I think it was just the actual motion of taking a pill, or I don't know if she snorted them. I don't know what she did with them.
Absolutely.
But I know for a fact you get nothing off Ultraset. I mean, it's like Ultram. It's okay. It's not anything. But antipsychotics were a big thing too. Seroquel and
well, I know Seroquel will fuck you up especially if you don't need it.
Yeah, there was something else that they would take, and it would make them drunk. I mean, they would literally act drunk. They would put it in their Kool-Aid, which I thought it was ridiculous, but they would act drunk. I mean, they could have been acting. I don't know. I never tried it. I had no interest in that. You know what I mean? I had done so much shit to get myself there. Taking stupid mental pills was not, you know what I mean? I wasn't going to try to.
There, yeah.
I was not going to try to find a new high.
It probably wasn't around, but I bet you Suboxone wasn't around when you were doing your sentence.
It was. I actually got prescribed Suboxone. Between that April and November, I tried to get help on my own, but before I ever got caught. And I did go get Suboxone, and it was when the first orange pills came out.
Okay,
it was pills, then it was strips. Now it's back to pills again. But I ended up selling them. I ended up trading them
Yeah,
for,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
People are amazed at how much money you can get for them, and we did the same
yeah.
thing. The girl I was with when, towards the end of my addiction, when I finally got caught for the last time, she got, oh shoot, no, I can't remember the name of it. It's the same thing as Suboxone, but it doesn't have the opiate blocker in it, so you can still get high when you take it.
Is
Do you know
it
what I'm talking about?
yeah, I can't think Subutex. Is it
It's
Subutex?
Subutex. Yeah, and so people would pay $12 a pill for that, and she would get her prescription for whatever 120 or whatever it might be, and bam, we would sell them for the next couple of days and have enough money to buy what we really wanted,
Right.
for a couple of days.
Right.
But what I was going to say is, and I swear to God, I wouldn't believe it unless I witnessed it for myself. People in prison would buy Suboxone for $100 a strip, $100 for one little strip.
Oh my
And you think,
goodness.
well, how in God's name can somebody in prison afford $100 a strip? But what they would do is they would have somebody on the outside that, for whatever reason was loyal enough to that person to give, a lot of times it was the COs that would get it for them. So that person on the outside would go meet up with the CO on the outside, give them the money, and then the CO would bring that into prison and
I
disperse
would
it.
say that probably happened where I was, but we didn't hear about it.
You didn't hear about it?
No, I tried to surround myself with people who were in the same mindset as
Me
me.
too. Me too. But I did see it everywhere. But no, it's amazing how many good people were locked up with me, and really good people that just made the wrong choice and or at the wrong place, wrong time type of a thing. But another thing people would do is they would put
Who,
it inside of letters because it was so small and thin. They would, oh, I know what
right.
this just came back to me. They would dissolve it on the back of a stamp.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So eventually they got wind of that and started ripping off the stamps to the
Oh my
letters when they would come
goodness.
in. But people are freaking creative. That's all I got to say.
I'll tell you what a friend of mine did. Her husband was in prison, and it was a prison in another state, and they could still send clothing items from home
Uh-huh.
there. It
Mm.
wasn't like you had here in Ohio, you have to order from a company and a box
Oh,
gets
yeah.
sent from that company. You can't send anything from home except
Yeah.
letters. She would send him boxer shorts and tear the seams out of the waistband and hide stuff in the waistband,
Oh,
Suboxone,
yeah. Wow.
because they're thin. And then she would sew the waistband back up, and they
Yeah.
would never think to take the seam
Rip open
ripper
the
and
seams.
yeah, yeah. And I
Oh,
mean,
what
that's
a
how he made
mess.
his money there.
So much effort put into just foolishness. I'm just happy I
Witch's
don't live
Brew
like that
asked,
anymore.
Witch's Brew asked, how did we find people to even sell to? It's not something you can post on Facebook. Facebook wasn't even a thing when I was in the game.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Once
MySpace
you
back
know
then.
one person,
Yeah, word travels fast,
word travels really fast.
especially in
And
small
both of
towns.
us came from communities that were not, it's not like I hung around with these kind of people, went high school with these people, but something, Brew, that I was going to just touch on real briefly, and I don't know what your all's thoughts are on this, but putting somebody like me in jail, which by all means I deserved it. I'm not saying I didn't, but when you expose somebody like this, and the first time I did, I definitely deserved it. And I'll to fill you in a little bit more about my record at one point in time. But once you get into the system, they keep you in there. And I was on probation and they violated me for not just reasons. And they did it several times and they kept putting me back in jail. And once you spend 30 or 45 days with somebody, I was the type, I was not going to be antisocial. I had to make friends.
Me
That's
too.
just who I was. And when you put somebody like that, you expose them to all everybody talked about when I was locked up was heroin. And all everybody talked about was what they were going to do when they got out, how they're going to hook people up. And once you hear that enough over and over and over again, all day, 24 hours a day, you really kind of pervert somebody's mind. And so, plus, when you're locked up, you see the best side of somebody. You see the sober side of somebody.
Right.
So when we would get out, I would, say, so and so, call me when you get out, and I would. And then all of a sudden, that person is now in their active addiction again. And you trust them because you just spent, the last 45 days with them or whatever. So I got exposed to a lot because doing so much time, basically, because I was in and out of jail at that point in time and always was around people, had made friends, if that makes sense. So that's kind of how I met people to, not really to sell to, but to buy from. And at first they would give it to you. That's how they always start out, Here.
My town's so small, everybody knows everybody. I mean, we only have a population of probably 3,000, maybe.
Is that where you still live?
I actually live I'm from West Virginia. Ohio is just right across the river. And I moved to Ohio when I came home in 2010, and I very rarely cross that river. I very rarely go to West Virginia unless it's to see my parents because they still live over there. But there's nothing over there for me. I mean, there's nothing but bad news over there, and I just stay over here. Even though it's so close, I mean, it's within 5 miles. West Virginia, Ohio, are within 5 miles of each other. There's nothing for me over there. That's where all my bad memories are. That's where all of, you have to change people, places, and things.
Places, things, for sure.
And I told my mom and dad, I love you, but you're going to have to come and see me.
Right.
I mean, I'll come and see you on holidays, but it actually gives me anxiety to go across that bridge. And it's not like the bridge. You know what bridge I'm talking about.
Oh, yes. I understand, honey.
I don't mean that kind of anxiety. I mean, it's not the bridge that's giving me
anxiety. It brings you back, yes. Tracy asked, did you have to kick it in jail, ladies? And yes, I did. And it was horrible. They offered you nothing. I finally did get them to give me some Imodium. And I said, I don't know why I was so scared to tell them I was detoxing because...
Hi, Savage.
I'm sure they probably knew, but hey, Savage, so glad you're here. Y'all, I know it's really late, and we'll come on here again for sure. Try to be a little bit earlier. We were going to come on at 7:30. We've been trying since 7:30 to do this.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But yes, I also had to withdraw and detox in jail, and it was horrible.
And what I remember is the smell. I don't know if you remember that, but I was doing a little bit harder than pills at that point in time. But there is a distinct smell that comes out of your body where every cell in your body is trying to detox and get that out of your body. And to this day, I can, if I think about it, that smell is something that I can remember so distinctly. And of course, when you're in jail, it's not like they give you clean clothes every day. Even clean underwear you don't get every day.
Exactly. We had to wash our clothes in the sink.
Yeah. So,
same.
Man, it was, boy, if I could have had a video camera to see what I was actually going through.
Exactly.
I would like to show horrendous.
People what it's really like. Yeah.
Brutal. But that's what happens to good girls. Drugs take over everybody. It has nothing to do with your moral compass or your background. Nothing.
Nope. Drugs does not discriminate.
Does not discriminate at all. And I do remember, this is the last thing I'm going to say, and I don't know if you're ready to get off. I'm kind of tired.
I'm getting sleepy too. But I want to do it again.
Yeah. Oh, let's do it tomorrow night if that's okay.
Yeah, John's on midnights. I'm good with that.
Okay, and hopefully we can get Mandy on too. But I remember in one of the rehabs I went to that was not, I learned some stuff, but obviously it didn't stop me from doing drugs. We watched a video. It's a very famous video, and I honestly forget the name of it, but they did a series. It's to prove that addiction is a disease. And they put a drop of opiates in, where they were studying rats, and they would have like 50 rats and would study what their habits were each day. And then they started giving the rats a little sensor where they had to press it, and then they would get their food. So each day they would press the little sensor, get their food. Okay. So then they started adding a drop of opiate to the food, and the rat would have to press the lever to get their food and their opiate. Well, then they upped it, and they started putting an electric sensor or electric charge with the sensor. So every time the rat had to press the sensor to get their food, they'd get a little shock, and they would get their opiate drop. And they kept decreasing that, where the shock would get higher and they would get a little bit more opiate. The shock would get higher, they'd get a little bit more opiate, to the point that every single one of those 50 rats was willing to go high enough with their shock to get their opiate that they killed themselves. Every single rat in there ended up killing themselves by electric shock in
Oh
hopes
my
of getting their opiate. So, rats don't have a moral compass. Maybe Bam might disagree, but it's not that they are good or bad rats or have more discipline. It's just that opiates take over, drugs take over your brain. And if they were willing to do that, literally go to the point that they killed themselves, how much more so would humans be willing to do that? So I apologize. I got to figure out a way to look at the chat. Last time I had the chat up, so.
Well, where I'm on my phone, I can't have two tabs pulled up at once. So I'm
Yeah.
on.
Oh yeah, that makes
I'm
sense.
on
You get on your
I'm on
phone.
Bradley's phone for the chat. I'm on my phone for the picture. But nothing pisses me off more than for someone to say addiction is not a disease. I mean, I hate for people to say addiction's a choice.
Yeah.
Well, yes, at first it is a choice. It is a choice to take that first pill or to take that first hit or whatever. But it is a disease. I mean, I believe that wholeheartedly. I even had to, my stepdad, who I refer to as my dad, I had to, he didn't talk to me the whole time I was gone. He was so disappointed in me. I didn't speak to my dad for almost 3 years between,
Wow.
Well, I was gone 2 years in one day. And then even after I came home, he was so mad at me. And he believed it was a choice. And I mean, we had to go to therapy together. He went to some of my therapy, meetings with me to get him to understand that, yes, it was a choice for me to take that first pill, but then it fucking controls your whole life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Night, Poppy. Everybody's going to bed, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go to bed. I got to clean up this kitchen that I made a mess in and go to bed. But let's plan on maybe around 8 tomorrow. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, and we'll get Mandy hopefully to come on here. I'm not really sure.
Bye,
exactly.
Tracy.
It was easy for you to get on once I sent that link to you, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, I just clicked the link and it took me right to you. As soon as I hit the link, it brought your picture up.
All right, good. Well, good night, guys. I'm sorry, I'm sleepy.
I'm sleepy too. Good night, guys. Thanks for coming.
Love you all. Good night, Stephanie. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, good night.
Bye.